Hey Crash, today we're going to be discussing a bunch of Easter eggs that are hidden specifically throughout Nickelodeon shows.
That's what I'm talking about! It's hunting season, bitches!
Crash, you know the types of Easter eggs I'm referring to, right? Wikipedia actually defines it perfectly. An intentional inside joke, hidden message, or secret feature of an interactive work. They state that the name Easter egg is used to evoke the idea of the traditional Easter egg hunt. With this knowledge in mind, viewers can be engaged far deeper into a series, desperately waiting to spot a reference that may or may not even be there.
I just thought that, with the Easter holiday coming up and all, we would...
It's okay, Crash. It's an easy misinterpretation. Although you do look incredibly stupid right now.
I just wanted some chocolate. Is that too much to ask?
We've got something equally as delicious
Don't say that.
in store for today's video. Let's jump right into this.
Fuck.
As we're all probably aware, Nickelodeon cartoons are known for their sneaky and humorous hidden references, but because they are often so well hidden, they aren't seen by everyone. In this video, we'll be uncovering some of Nickelodeon's best hidden Easter eggs, starting off with a classic. Number 1. During the Angry Beavers episode, where Treeflower comes to visit, Norbert is sorting through their mail. He reads aloud to Daggett, "Richard Horvitz had a baby boy." This might seem irrelevant at first, but if you look into the voice cast of the show, Richard Horvitz is actually the voice actor for Daggett, and had the birth of his baby announced on the show. Pretty cool, huh?
I suppose. You know what's even cooler, though? Not having a baby at all.
Daggett, look at this. Richard Horvitz had a little baby boy April 11th.
Ooh.
Jake Elliott Horvitz.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, I think so.
Who's Richard Horvitz?
Nobody.
Number 2. When the gang from Avatar The Last Airbender travel on the Ba Sing Se tram system, Sokka states that, "I'm just saying, weird things just keep happening to us." A large scruffy guy sucking on an ear of corn then sits next to him and Toph.
You been hitting the cactus juice again?
I'm just saying, weird stuff happens to us.
To most, this too would seem irrelevant, but if you're a fan of Invader Zim, then you would know that a large scruffy man also devours corn in that show, and has a very similar vibe about him. Brian Konietzko, the co-creator of Avatar The Last Airbender, was an art director for that very show, Invader Zim. Coincidence?
Man, I wish I could insert myself into a show like that. I could die happy knowing that my beautiful image would live on.
Well then, congratulations buddy, you're on a show right now.
I meant a good show.
Number 3. Did you know that the high school that Danny, from Nickelodeon's Danny Phantom, attends is named Casper High? If you're unfamiliar with the show, Danny is half boy, half ghost, meaning that Casper in his school's name is clearly referencing the old television series entitled Casper the Friendly Ghost.
How the hell didn't I realize that before?
Number 4. There's an episode of Fairly Odd Parents where Timmy goes to the lost city of Atlantis, and upon trying to convince the king that Cosmo made Atlantis better by sinking it, be sure to keep your eyes peeled for something morbid. As their conversation progresses, you'll hear the king say, "We also eat fish," and the occasional underwater squirrel.
That's what we did with all the fish in the sea.
Well, we're not friends with them. Look, we eat your fish brothers.
So do we sometimes. Although mostly our diet consists of crabs, starfish, and the occasional underwater squirrel.
Rest in peace, Sandy Cheeks. You were nobody's favorite SpongeBob character, but I'm sure you will be missed anyway. Also, your name is hilarious, but that doesn't win you any brownie points, bitch.
Number 5. Towards the end of an Avatar The Last Airbender episode, Sokka makes a sword out of a meteorite and throws Toph a piece of space earth as they all walk along together. Toph catches it and bends it between her hands into a series of shapes, the last of which just happens to be this shape, the shape of the orange Nickelodeon Splat logo. Number 6. On Jimmy Neutron's Neutronic Monster Maker, the king of pop, Michael Jackson, as well as Jack Skellington and Oogie Boogie from The Nightmare Before Christmas, are shown as potential options on the device. I bet nobody noticed that while watching.
Yeah, because nobody watched Jimmy Neutron to begin with. In fact, he reminds me a lot of you. So, it's impossible to enjoy.
Number 7. Speaking of Jimmy Neutron,
God damn it!
In another episode of Fairly Odd Parents, Timmy invites Chester and AJ to sleep over, but they get in a fight and split up. There's a part in this episode where Cosmo sees an ant on the ground and decides to name it Carl. Later, he finds a bee and names it Cindy. And towards the end of the episode, he sees a cat and names it Jimmy. If you are unaware, Carl, Cindy, and Jimmy are all characters from the Nickelodeon series Jimmy Neutron. Number 8. In the Avatar The Last Airbender episode named Sozin's Comet Part 1, after the scene whereby Fire Lord Ozai names himself the Phoenix King, there is a scene where Zuko, Toph, Sokka, and Katara walk into an Earth Kingdom bar to meet Jun, a bounty hunter. As they walk in, take a closer look at the second man who attacks.
Is that Ryu from Street Fighter?
Indeed it is, and the beauty of it is that you wouldn't have even noticed it unless you were looking for him. Number 9. At one point during the Danny Phantom episode where Tucker becomes a ghost, look closely in the theater scene and you'll see a bunch of arcade games. One of these games is labeled Crash Nebula. As many of you may know, the creator of Danny Phantom, Butch Hartman, is also the creator of Fairly Odd Parents, and Crash Nebula just happens to be Timmy Turner's hero in the show. Number 10. While we're on the topic of Fairly Odd Parents, in an episode where Timmy ventures to the fairy world, 2 street signs are visible as he's entering it.
Let me guess, another Easter egg.
The street signs read Penn and Teller, who are 2 very famous magicians. So yes, obviously. Well done. Number 11. A very frequent hidden reference in the show Invader Zim includes a red-headed man with glasses and a trench coat. And if you're an avid viewer of the series, then it's pretty hard for this to go unnoticed. However, actually knowing the context behind this inclusion makes it a lot more awesome. Any guesses?
Yet another creator who has stolen my dream of living on through cartoons.
Yes, actually. He is Yonan Vasquez, the creator of Invader Zim. Here are some examples of this Easter egg in action. Number 12. Okay, here's a quick one. In the episode of Jimmy Neutron entitled Operation Rescue Jet, take a close look at the sea floor after Jimmy dives right in. He makes his way towards Jet's tracking device, and as he does so, you can clearly see SpongeBob's iconic pineapple house. Number 13. Here's a more controversial Easter egg for you, Crash. I'm sure you'll enjoy this one the most. In the episode of Nickelodeon's Rocko's Modern Life entitled Rocko's Happy Sack, Rocko and his dog Spunky go to the supermarket, where there's a 99% off sale. Spunky accidentally gets wrapped up and taken by another customer, and when Rocko notices this whilst waiting in line, he tries to persuade the man who had taken Spunky that dog meat is bad for his health. The customer later responds to Rocko's comments by telling him that all sea mammals should be shipped back to where they live and have the boat sunk halfway there. A reference to immigration.
We ought to take all the sea mammals, put them in a big boat, send it across the ocean, and sink it halfway. Hey, buddy, my wife's a sea mammal!
In the same conversation, Rocko says that dog meat is produced with several harmful chemicals, and he names many 3-lettered acronyms, such as MSG and the like. He also mentions PCP, which is a chemical sometimes used in marijuana as a hallucinogen. After saying this, the man simply replies, "I like PCPs."
Sir, haven't you heard that dog meat causes you to be, irregular?
I'll take my chances.
But dog meat is known to contain traces of DDT, PCBs, MSG, CVCs, and BVDs.
A very classy one to finish the episode with, Culture. I like your style.
Well, then you'll be devastated to know that this Easter egg is actually nothing more than a misconception. The quote, "I like PCPs," is actually incorrect, as the character actually says, "I like PCBs," which are essentially man-made organic chemicals known as chlorinated hydrocarbons. I found this false information on several sites, but here's the soundbite so you can decide for yourself. PCPs or PCBs?
I like PCBs.
Well, that was anticlimactic.
Another 3-letter acronym that was mentioned was BVDs, which is a brand of male underwear. But I'll agree with you, that's not nearly as funny. Anyway, that's all of the Easter eggs we're discussing in today's video, and if our viewers enjoyed this, then we can expand on the idea and cover, say, Cartoon Network shows, anime, video games, etc. What did you think, Crash?
I thought I was getting chocolate today. But I didn't. I didn't get any chocolate. So you know what I have to say to you, Culture? Fuck you. Happy Easter, everybody!
Follow CultureCrash on social